A very warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining our Homeopathy 24/7 podcast. We are going to be speaking to an array of international guests who will share their knowledge and experiences of homeopathy with you. We will discuss all types of subjects such as remedies, symptoms, and stories of health. No matter where you are with your homeopathic journey, we aim to inspire you on your quest to natural health and living. The podcast is brought to you by Mary Greensmith, the founder of Homeopathy 24/7, which is a global platform connecting you with a homeopath wherever you are in the world, 24 hours a day. So let's get started with today's chat. Please welcome Mary Greensmith.
Hello, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are really pleased to invite back Bartosz Dziemidowicz, and we're going to talk about sport injuries today. Welcome, Bartosz.
Welcome. Thank you very much, Mary. Thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to, have another recording with you. That would be, I think, my third one. And yes, we did some cardiovascular problems. We did some neurological disease. Now we're doing a kind of, lighter caliber because, I wanted to talk about what homeopathy can offer in terms of sport injuries. Okay. Sport exercise, very important. We know this, okay, important for your, weight management, cardiovascular system, very important for mood disorders, depression. And so we have to exercise, okay, but, quite often injuries are the factors which, disturbs the routine, gets you out of the schedule, and then there is a problem with how do we come back to the training. And I think homeopathy, at least my personal experience for sure, is something which allows you to shorten that time and come back to the routine much earlier than without using it.
And what I love about the idea of just letting everybody know about how good homeopathy is with these injuries is that, we have got such brilliant remedies, and it's actually quite easy to use alongside whatever else you're doing. If you need surgery, you need surgery. If you need exercise, you need exercise. If you need, if you've got inflammation, then every aspect of this we can look at with homeopathy, can't we?
Well, exactly. And, as you mentioned, in very sense that treatment of post-surgical treatment, it would be quite similar to treating sport injuries because, and again, as you said, a lot of this can be done at home because, to be honest, if we look at those two instances, sport injuries, affecting any part of the body, let's say joint, muscles, dislocated shoulder, tennis elbow, more chronic injuries like carpal tunnel, which is not really sport injury, but is something whoever experienced this, extremely painful, can last for weeks and weeks and weeks, or plantar fasciitis, in inflammation of all the fascia and ligaments which is under your foot, extremely painful. You're looking at weeks and weeks and weeks, and here it can be done at home perfectly fine. We're looking at very few remedies. We're looking maybe 10-15 remedies, which it's not difficult to get to know them, and they have so vast application that they can be used for pretty much anything, because, for example, Ruta and Rhus, they have very strong affinity for tendons and ligaments. So anything which bothers your elbow or your knee, it would be Ruta. Okay, good old Arnica, everyone knows. Okay, bruising, hemorrhaging, fatigue, marathon runners remedy. So it can be done. It can very easily. Of course, I have to say that in case of injuries, they always have to be assessed by medical staff. Okay, we don't know what has happened inside. It may look kind of it's okay, it's fine, but we never know. So it's good to have it assessed.
Yes, absolutely. And this is always something that a homeopath will say, you must go and have your x-rays, you must go and have it checked out. As with any bangs, bruises, falls, anything that's happened. And also because we know that the body is good at healing itself. And that's why we need to have bones set before a lot of the homeopathic remedies as well. But that's the brilliant thing, isn't it? That homeopathy works so well with surgery, after surgery, preparation for surgery, and of course, once those bones have been set or something, you know, whatever's happened, to go on and promote that healing is just easy.
Oh, yes, exactly. But again, going back to this, you know, the necessity of having things assessed is crucial, because a lot of there is a lot of injuries which can develop, you know, next 24 hours, next 48 hours. Then initial look might be misleading in a sense that, oh, it's going to be fine. No, it not necessarily will be. You have to have it assessed, you have to have it checked. And then, you know, having clearance for, okay, the bones are set, we can use this, we can use homeopathy alongside of conventional medication, we can speed up this process. Then we are, you know, clear and good to do what we need to do. But, you know, what belongs to Caesar has to be given to Caesar. So there's no misunderstanding about this. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would go as far as to say, you know, once you've been to hospital and you've been checked out and you've got the plan, then you're ready to start with homeopathy. And even if you've got medications, homeopathy can really help with those medications. And there's so many things that, you know, people are given for painkillers and you know, other anti-inflammatories, which of course you're thinking, okay, well, you know, we know that if you break your ribs, your body's just got to heal your ribs. You can't be strapped up and put in places. So it makes sense that your body produces inflammation if it's trying to keep your limbs still for a short amount of time. And I think just understanding those principles of what your body is doing and why, and then thinking, how can I make this more comfortable whilst it's healing? It just makes sense, doesn't it?
Oh, it's perfectly. But you see, you mentioned, you know, broken ribs. Okay, I don't wish anybody to experience this. It is so extremely painful, and there is nothing whatsoever can help, because the slightest movement, you know, sneezing, yawing, or laughing, even sudden movement is excruciating pain. But, well, hey, Bryonia, you see, Bryonia, this is what we've got in homeopathy: aggravation from the slightest movement. And I think you know, it can be, you would be given, for example, some anti-inflammatories, okay, but there's no free lunch, okay. They are given for the reason. They are fantastic in doing what they're doing, but quite often there might be some backfire in the sense of unwanted effects of the medication, okay. Now, a lot of homeopathic formulas, you know, in research showing at least as good effects on inflammation as conventional medicine.
It's just interesting to be talking about, you know, when we're looking at tendon health and ligament health, and we know that tendons and ligaments take a long time to heal, almost as long as bones. And that, of course, is something else that homeopathy can really help with.
Tendons and ligaments are affected in, if you look at any injury, okay, that there would be aspect of this. And, you know, the reason being is tendons and ligaments basically connect muscles to the bones and allows your fingers to move. So then, for example, if some of this is, you know, injured or inflamed, one, you can't move it. Second thing, the movement is extremely painful. And again, there would be a bunch of small remedies which would be, for example, used in treating arthritis, small ligaments of small fingers. Homeopathy is that precise that we can find a remedy for that particular part of the body. But we also have big remedies like Ruta and Rhus, and they cover pretty much every tendon and ligament in the body. So again, treating of injuries, or in chronic cases when we've got arthritis, osteoarthritis, also application there. So whichever aspect you take of mobility, okay, will it be sport or general movement, okay, elderly people, limited mobility, still homeopathy can help there, can offer something.
Yes, it's so brilliant as well that we can actually use tissue salts to maintain and improve health, to prevent injuries as well.
Oh yes, tissue salts, I think they are very well known in homeopathy, but outside of the homeopathy, there is people know about them, but I don't think that people know, they realize full extent how tissue salts can be used. Again, when we go back to the sport world, very common, you're gonna hear about electrolytes, which people use to replenish minerals which were lost during their training. So we're looking at, okay, magnesium, calcium, potassium, chlorine, sodium. Okay, this is all which you lose with sweat when you exercise, and then you see after training you're drinking some magnesium drink with some salt, and these are supposed to replenish your electrolytes. So it does, but you see in homeopathy, again, we've got tissue salts. All the cells in the body are made of it. Okay, now with the training, with the exercise, we use some of the resources which then have to be replenished. But then, for example, what we're looking at mainly is magnesium, potassium, sodium, chlorine, calcium. Okay, and then, for example, again, some of them they have quite strong therapeutic indications for certain things, like calc fluor actually is a very good companion of Ruta and Rhus in treatment of tendon and ligament injuries. Now we've got MagPhos, okay, magnesium phosphate. Again, two components: magnesium, which basically is needed in the body to relax the muscles, and MagPhos is used, for example, for any kind of muscular tension, cramps, okay, that kind of things. And phosphorus is needed to actually produce energy in the body. Ferrum phos, okay, again, ferrum, iron, phosphate. So then we're looking at, for example, blood metabolism, blood ability to transfer oxygen. So that is again important thing in oxygenation of the tissue. It does have strong other uses for inflammation and so on and so on. But you see, when you look at the tissue salts and you look at the full ability to treat different things and what do they do, is a huge potential. So homeopathy has got definitely a lot of things to offer.
Yeah, and when we think about those elements that our body needs, and I think a lot more people are using magnesium for a lot more things these days, aren't they? But the whole idea makes sense, doesn't it, to keep the body healthy, to be in health rather than wait until we've got that weakness. So prevention of injuries is something that we all ought to be thinking about all of the time.
Oh yes, but you see, there's no aspect of life when prevention is not better than the treatment. Okay, when you get to the treating something, there's already problem, there's time, there's delay, but prevention is the best we can do. And again, even going back to tissue salts, okay, using tissue salts prevents you from running out of your resources. Okay, magnesium is a huge topic. If we look at supplement market, you've got endless forms of magnesium, endless brands, endless forms, and so on and so on. And it is very complicated in a sense that you've got magnesium malate, taurate, citrate, threonate, and so on and so on. You see, in homeopathy, we trust in body's built-in ability to heal itself. What we need to give body is just something which is, part of the body, magnesium phosphate, and body will do with this what needs to be done. Will distribute it when it's necessary, will utilize it in a way which is which is needed for that. So in this case, you see homeopathy is timeless in a sense that Magforce it is as it was for 200 years,
Yes.
while supplement market evolves, searching for holy grail, and every year is something different.
It's something different, that's right. But what I love about the aspects of having homeopathic Magforce effectively is it's not just if you're short of Magforce, you take Magforce. If you take Magforce as a homeopathic remedy, it's about allowing the body to absorb what it needs, and it's allowing the body to use it to its best ability. So it's actually saying, using the Magforce to say, come on, you're not absorbing this enough. You're not using this to your best ability. Or we just need to balance this. We'd give the same remedy whether you needed more or less, because it's about asking the body to react differently.
Exactly. So two totally different things, but very important, is absorption and distribution. Okay, so as you said, and another one, quite silica. You see, again, as a remedy in homeopathy, very, very big remedy, but again, as a tissue salt, again, connective tissue, hair, nails, skin, again, all the ligaments is also a component of bones. So again, for example, people who are looking for even cosmetic reasons, okay,
Yes.
then still homeopathy or tissue salts can be used for that reason.
Yes, of course, because it helps every cell in the body, doesn't it? Gives strength to every cell in the body. Every cell in the body has got silica in it, and we're just saying, okay, let's use this in a slightly different way. And you mentioned ferrum before, so iron obviously is a huge aspect of our bodies and our energy and our ability to have healthy, good immunity. And of course, we use ferrum phos, we use ferrum met for these, to keep us in tip-top health.
But okay, now for example, with the training, see, this is why athletes go and train at high altitudes, because lack of oxygen forces body to produce more red blood cells.
Oh,
Red blood cells and more red blood cells, more hemoglobin, means that when they come back to the, for example, sea level, their blood can transfer much more of oxygen. So this means their performance is much better than, for example, somebody who didn't train on high altitude. But these are high level performance athletes. But what you're gonna see with people who exercise more casually is that it still increases their performance. And again, all blood disorders, okay, disturbances, low hemoglobin, low blood count, and so on and so on, ferrum phos still would be one of the first things to reach for. And then again, you see, as before, we started with sport injuries, but we kind of already went into totally different practical applications of it. So this only shows how versatile tissue salts or homeopathy is.
yes. Let's just bring it back then to sports injuries and how people would be prescribing with the home remedies, because it's so brilliant, and it's a really good starting point for people who haven't used homeopathy much, isn't it? To actually try and see, okay, what could I use for this? How will I use it? How will it help me? So have you got any starting points for people perhaps who haven't used homeopathy much at all?
I think with you would look at, for example, okay, firstly, what is injured, okay, because that will give you kind of direction, okay, where would be searching, okay. And then also very good results you get with sooner you start, earlier you start, better results you get. And then, okay, each injury is traumatic experience. So we can, for example, use Arnica and Aconite. Aconite is very good remedy for acute shocks and traumas. Arnica also have an aspect of shock and trauma, and also Arnica is overall overall fantastic remedy for anything really, looking at injuries. And then you see, so we would look at the time, and we would look at location, and we would look at what possibly has been injured, because it's going to be slightly different set, for example, slightly, the same but slightly different, or maybe delivered in different order. Because, for example, with head injuries, okay, again, we would look at Aconite for shock, Arnica as a general. You see, again, this is hemorrhage remedy, bruising remedy. So then, you see, this is when with head injuries, this is where you have to go and have it assessed, because we don't know, is there any hemorrhage, okay? And if there is, how severe it is. But then we have also not solve, which is phenomenal remedy for head injuries. And then again, you see, but if we're looking at sprained ankle, okay, or a knee or something, or hip joints, then we would be looking again at the initial set, Arnica, Aconite, and then we'd be looking, okay, is it better from the movement, or is it getting worse with the movement? Okay, and looking at those, those modalities, we can easily select. Okay, we're gonna stick in. Initially, we're gonna go Aconite, we're gonna go Arnica, and then, for example, we're gonna say, hey, this is the best remedy. Which we're looking here is, for example, the Rhus or Ruta.
Brilliant, brilliant. It just is really important for us just to go over the basic things, where to start, and letting people begin using homeopathy. It's just brilliant.
But you see, also, I think if you look at this, homeopathic pharmacies, they're making our life, or people, or everyone's life easier, in a sense that you've got already made, for example, formulas like Rhus and Ruta cream. Okay, then of course, sometimes it's easier to use single remedies, because they would be much more precise, addressing what needs to be used. But you see, if you need to grab something quickly and help yourself, then, for example, Arnica, Rhus, Ruta cream will do already a lot, and will help you to buy some time to get back home and say, hey, okay, what do I need more precisely?
Exactly. Yes, you're absolutely right. And I have found actually quite a few research papers on Arnica cream. So I think it is something that everybody should have in their first aid kits these days.
Oh, Arnica, definitely, definitely it's a must. And I think when you start using homeopathy at home, you're gonna notice that, okay, actually what you need is a kit of remedies, which is gonna be 30, maybe 50 remedies. But you see, having this at home, you're having a very versatile treatment kit. You can, it's not only, we're not talking then about, only injuries, okay, but any kind of infectious disease, all the flus, cough, colds, this is what bothers the whole family, okay. Sleeping problem, overeating, digestive issues, everything which bothers you on daily basis can be addressed using just that little box with 30 remedies. How simple is this?
Yes, yes, you're absolutely right. And of course, let's just go on for a moment, because we've covered the acute and using the remedies yourself. But let's just talk for a moment about those more chronic issues, things that keep returning, perhaps people who suffer from recurring back problems or other sports injuries keep happening. They obviously have a weakness, a susceptibility.
Oh, this is very interesting thing, because now, if there is reoccurring problem, if despite despite being treated, the problem comes back and comes back and comes back, then, well, it's not that treatment doesn't work. The treatment did did fantastic job because it helped, body to recover from it. But there is something deeper which has to be addressed. That there is something, deeper rooted problem, which basically it's like maybe this way. If you have a little stone in your shoe, then having arnica, okay, or having a painkiller for the pain, yes, it would help with the pain, but doesn't remove that stone from your shoe. And this is where you see having that reoccurrence of the similar intention in injury or a problem indicates that we have to look slightly deeper. Okay, then not necessarily there we would be looking at acute prescribing, because we have to say, hey, what does it make it come back? Okay, what is it? Okay, is it something which the person developed, okay, or something inherited? It's something, there's something which has to be dug out. And then yet again, you see homeopathy, does have this ability, but it might be slightly more work and has to be slightly more questions from a homeopath, trying to establish what that obstacle really is. But again, the same with, for example, chronic problems, arthritis. Yes, remedies can ease the pain, they can help with mobility, flexibility, but again, the reason why the person developed, first of all, that condition would be something more deeply hidden, inherited, susceptibility.
Yes, of course. And we know that homeopathy is really good with helping with those chronic issues and actually getting to the cause of the issue and building up that health again from that point. So it might be easy to follow the chain, and sometimes it's much more difficult to follow it back to the cause.
Oh, it's all very, very all very individual. And we always say that homeopathy is a very individualized treatment. That yes, again, acutes may be slightly different, but you see, having recurrent problems, they would be the same type of the problem would be bothering two different people for two different reasons. And then you see this is when individualized homeopathy is something which can actually, filter and narrow and find what the problem is. Because having two people with the same condition, the cause of it might be totally different. And of course, this is something, which looks very different in allopathic medicine, but, homeopathy, one of the, pillars of homeopathy is individualized treatment. So this is why we always look in asking 1,000 questions, and some people say, oh, this is a strange thing. I said, like, there's no strange things in homeopathy. All this makes sense. It may not make sense from the normal kind of level, but in homeopathy, yes, it does.
It does make sense, because it gives us this opportunity to explore our bodies, to explore our reactions, to explore how our body reacts to the environment and to other things as well. It's been absolutely brilliant to talk to you today, Bart. Thank you so much for coming in, and let's do this again sometime.
Thank you again, Mary. Thank you for the invitation, and definitely, I would love to come back with some more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bart, for going through everything with me today. It's just so important to be talking about what we can do to maintain health and, of course, maintain our muscles, and just anything that we can do to prevent us having injuries is really, really useful. Next week, I am going to be talking to Chantel. Now, Chantel is a dog trainer and behaviourist, so this is really quite different for us on this podcast. But the reason that I want to talk to Chantel is because that so much of what she does is so like what we're asking with homeopathy. It runs so much in parallel together. So I'm really excited about that. If you have got a dog, if you want to know how training, behavior, body, language all interacts and is so similar to what we need to find out for homeopathy, then next week is going to be a great session for you. I look forward to seeing you there. Take care. I do hope you've enjoyed these episodes, and I do hope you can subscribe to our channels. Now, there are various ways for you to listen to our podcast or watch it on video on YouTube. So whether it's iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube, please do subscribe and please do leave us a review. If you leave us a review on these platforms, then more people will see our podcast. We just want more people to share the joy of homeopathy. It's a choice that everybody should know about. Please do everything you can to help us help more people.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and look forward to listening to our next one. Please don't forget to follow our podcast on your chosen channel, and please do leave us a review so we can continue to share homeopathy with as many people as possible. If you do have any questions, please do reach out to us on any of our social platforms mentioned in the show notes. We at Homeopathy 24/7 hope to empower you on your natural health journey.